One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
Why can't every day be like this? No Simple Road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
Look at me. Look, I did it.
We are live.
Wow, man.
Are we live?
We are.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, brought to you in collaboration with the Edible Beats.
Edible
The Edible Beats.
Out of Denver, Colorado. If you don't know
The
who
big
the
CO.
Edible Beats is, and what they do, you should really go learn about that.
They are an incredible, they're not a chain, but they're a company of restaurants that are doing things wonderfully different in that scene.
Yep.
And giving back to their employees, putting out incredible products, food. Their zine is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. They have an amazing concert venue
Ophelia's?
called Ophelia's Electric Soapbox that
That's right.
we played with.
We were at.
We played with it.
And
Yeah.
I personally am addicted to their Instagrams. Each of
Yes.
the restaurants has an Instagram, and the food that comes out of those.
You have an Instagram.
We were lucky enough to eat at Linger, which was a mind-blowing feast of tastes and like tickled all the senses.
We'll
All
be
right.
talking about that for a long time
Mhm.
to come. For
So-
sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're here.
We made
Everybody-
it. Everything's
We
in
did
one piece. We're all in one piece.
And we thought we'd bring all the technology we could with us
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
we have it. So yeah, we're live on YouTube. We haven't done this in over a year.
You know what?
Or more?
We should go live on Instagram right now and tell people that we're actually live on
I think
YouTube.
this is enough
No, just a
so they
quick-
know that if
so
they
they
wanted to
know
go
that
over
this
to
is
YouTube.
happening.
if you want to.
Yeah. And Apple, do me a favor, turn that light towards us a little bit because we're in the dark.
I thought this was supposed to be like our test one so that we can
no,
pay attention to the camera
no,
and
we're-
get it
we're
right.
going towards me more and more. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, light me up, man. Yeah, that's good. Keep going.
It does
there you
feel very
Ah,
like
so much
dark in
better.
here, but
Yeah, get it. Thanks, everybody. We lived. We made
We
it
did.
through the winter storm.
and maybe some people don't even know what's going on because not everybody is on Instagram.
Well, why don't you start telling them while I do this?
Well, Saturday, which is today, we're recording our usual weekly rewind a little bit late. last Saturday. We woke up and we're super excited. We had 2 back-to-back interviews that we had been rescheduling. And so we got up, got our coffee, came down to the studio, you know, trying to get all the mics right. And next thing you know, we are about to, maybe 20 minutes before the interview, we're about to go like kind of break, get our pee out. And then what happens? Boom. The power turns off.
We had nothing.
So, you know, sometimes that happens and it comes right back on and we're like, okay, cool. That did not happen in this case. So we were like, okay, well, we gotta, you know, call the guys that we were supposed to be interviewing today. And at first we just do one of them because we're like, oh, the power's totally going to come back. No, it did not come back. So we had to call the other person. Sorry, we can't do this. And you know, we thought it was going to, okay, fine. Let's just make the most of it. You know, we have a snow day. It's kind of fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
no big deal.
First day, we were kind of like
and
well,
then,
we can have fun with this.
And then hours go by and we are still in the dark. And
it's starting to get, it was 19 degrees here at that point.
Yeah.
And that's not counting wind chill.
Yeah. So we had a lot of enthusiastic excitement, energy. We had no idea that we were going to go through a week of
we had a big stack of
marathon.
firewood.
Yeah, so we did. We had like 7 bundles of wood. We thought we were prepared for that. But
little
it turns out that it was like a little kid getting like their sippy cup and saying, okay, I've got everything I need.
I'm ready to drink a beer.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely not that. So, you know, quickly Saturday rolls into Sunday, rolls into Monday. And by Monday afternoon, I don't know how I got to go to work on Monday, but I had it in me to go to work on Monday. And I was telling my friends, my coworkers, like, yeah, you know, my power's out and it's just sucks. Like we're all sleeping in the same room and, you know, putting all the firewood into this, you know, down into the studio where we're at right now. We were all in the studio. And my friend was like, listen, Mel, I know you probably are going to say no, but my mom's got this house. She lives in Boston. We all use it for on time to time on occasion. I just used it for my daughter's birthday. It's sitting there vacant. It's fully furnished. It still has power. It still has water.
It's livable.
She's like, please come use it. I don't want anything for it. I'm happy to offer it. It's no big deal. And I was like, I've got there's 4 of us and our huge old dog. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to mess up your play. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, no, Mel, I insist. Well, then another coworker comes in. He's got the same story. No power. She starts telling him and he's like, no, thank you. I appreciate it, but I'm definitely not going to do it. And she's like, well, Mel, if you change your mind. So we exchange numbers. I mean, this friend is, you know, she's one that I know from work, but we're not super, super close. And she's offering me this. And so
that's why that's
kind of why I was like, no, it's okay. Because I didn't know her that well. Like we didn't even have each other's numbers. I mean, I love her. She's a kick-ass worker and we always have great conversations, but you know, it's like we've just never hung out outside of work. And so, okay, we exchange numbers. I go home. And
so this is
Monday afternoon. This is like 2 in the afternoon.
So we've been without power Saturday all day, Sunday all day, and you can see your breath in the house.
And the thing about it is like there's such like our house, because of the way that it is, like upstairs is literally a different climate always than downstairs. Like it's always freezing cold down here in the summertime because of the air conditioning. And then it's always like, you know, well, in this case, it was freezing cold up top. Not that the heat didn't rise. There was just no heat to rise. There was literally no heat to rise.
No. And we have vaulted ceilings upstairs.
Yeah. So I came home. I told the guys about it and they fucking give me the like, I don't know. But at this point we were all annoyed with the that was the answer that I got from everybody. Like, no, I don't, whatever. But you know what? All of us,
we're holding out hopes for the
Yeah.
power.
it's real. Nobody wanted to take Darwin out. We were all like, okay, it's been a few days. We'll get our power back. Of course.
And
it's going to be fine. So like, they're like, no, that was nice of your friend, but we're good. No worries. It's fine. And so then at this part, I'm pissed because I'm offering a solution and a good one. And like, I'm getting greeted with that kind of like lip service.
Well,
so you guys can take it away from after that.
We also had no idea like what was going on with the power. Like we didn't know why the power lines were down. We
had a good idea that it was the weather, but we didn't know to what degree.
So Apple and I decide that we're going to try and brave the storm on I think it was Tuesday morning.
No, Tuesday morning we were coming back from
Well,
house.
Monday. That's what I was going to add. Monday we had gone through all the wood we could really collect around our house easily, and we had decided Monday we were looking at getting a hotel room. That's where we were at,
right?
Of juggling the idea of a hotel room or Mel's friend's offer.
And we drove down the street and.
Well, you guys had looked at hotels before, like while I was at work, and there was nothing available.
And so to the right, if you take a right off of our street, which is treacherous to get down because we live on this huge hill and it was iced up, whatever. If you go to make a right, there was like 5 trees down in the road with the power lines wrapped around the trees. And then we turn left and Apple's like, oh shit, we're stuck. There's another huge tree over the road. And I'm like, oh no, people have driven through the parking lot of the school. You could see like a path that 1 or 2 people have driven through.
It was Monday when you guys did that. Or because I had gone to work and then you guys were like, yeah, this is a safe route.
We went to go to the grocery store and to go to Starbucks, and we got hot coffee for the guys for the power company.
Gosh, all these the days. Look at all these days are bleeding into each other.
Oh yeah.
We spent one more night in the house. On Tuesday, we said yes. Tuesday, we said
we didn't wait. The same day that my friend offered it, we went. So we didn't wait on that day. Yeah. So it was Monday because that's the only day that I worked, and that's how I know.
All right.
I only worked on Monday.
Tuesday morning.
Yes, exactly. Tuesday morning we came home to a flood. So we decide finally. Apple comes up and I'm like trying to do a makeshift fire with wet firewood.
Oh my god!
And fucking
little
wood
tiny
chips,
pieces of paper,
wood chips, and bullshit bills from our mail. And I'm trying to fucking get anything started, and then Apple comes and is like, so Mel, maybe we can take your friend up on that offer.
Oh, by the way, you didn't know that I got elected for that position. Ryder and Aaron were in the garage and was like, are we making a decision? And we made the decision. And they were like, you go tell Mel. I was like, okay, I'm on my way to tell Mel because we have not given her an answer, and this is... We're
answer
all
was
very close,
pretty much
our
a no.
nerves were all frayed with ourselves and each other.
I can't fault them. I was just equally annoyed, and so I'm proposing this, like, somebody's gonna fucking save us and let them go in their warm house, and we're not sharing with anybody. Like, this is amazing.
But we have to get there.
But then what I was greeted with, and so again,
wait a minute, you have to be fair.
No, I am being fair. I'm saying that. We were all a wreck of emotions.
No. What I was going to say is you have to be fair. It wasn't just like the roads are open. It's super easy. No problem. Why aren't we leaving? We're just being stubborn. No, the city shut down.
And we had to load up Darwin.
And we have a dog that can't get in and out of the car. So that was the hitch of leaving the house. It was like, I don't want to hurt the dog and fuck him up.
Well, the only reason I wasn't scared about the city was because I had been to work. So I knew what we could do. And I was just like, we can just pick up Darwin and put him in the car. Like, he's about as much as I weigh. If both you and Apple can pick me up, we can pick up Darwin.
Yeah. We pick her up and throw her in the car all the time. It's so easy. I just loved when I did tell Mel that we made it to the men had made a decision, and I go to tell Mel, you wouldn't answer us at first. She shot me like, it was a millisecond glance of like, I want to throw you in the fucking fireplace right now, dude.
Oh yeah.
And wouldn't
because I'm like, what the fuck are we? It was over an hour that we were processing and coming. And so at this time now I'm building a fire and I'm like staying home. Like I've decided that, and then now they're coming to fucking thwart my wet fire and
It's not gonna start.
and tell me that we're going somewhere when
I'm-
I've already settled to another cold night.
And I'm
you know?
watching her start the fire, right? And the control freak in me is like, it's never gonna start. You're using little tiny pieces of ripped up bills because you're pissed.
But I dare you to say something.
everything was
But
being done
God
with
forbid.
an attitude, with fucking chagrin. With
And we've been locked up in one room together for 3 days by this point. It was
and
like,
we're all very close,
Yeah.
but we all like when you're not used to other people's sleep noises
Oh my
and
God.
stuff.
Everything.
Like all of us do our own thing, and it
was starting to get hairy around here,
Yeah.
folks.
So
well,
thank
and then
God
we're
we
all
went to this
fucking. Our
house.
lips are chapped. Like we're like sunburned from the fucking fire. And freezing. Like, what?
My ears started getting chapped from the cold, from being cold so much, and still
It's from
dealing
listening to
with
me
like
snore.
yeah.
So okay, Apple comes in, tells me that that's what's gonna happen. I just pick up my phone and I text Leah as nicely as I could muster because I was so pissed off that they waited. Because okay, it's fine, but it was getting late. I got home.
It was starting to get dark.
Starting to get
I got
dark.
home at 2. They took an hour. It's dark at 4. So now we're rushing in a dark house to get our shit together. So that's why I was pissed. Like I was really fucking annoyed. I'm like, okay, Mom, like over my annoyedness. I text my friend. She's like, sure, no problem. Here's the address. Text me what time you're going to be there. I'll meet you there. So we hightail it. Everybody's like running around the house, getting their bags packed.
Bug out bag.
You know, trying to, find shit in the dark with our flashlights. Okay. We successfully, Ryder and I, pick up Darwin and put him in my back seat.
Like a pig.
And then we load everything else up into Apple's car, and we take 2 cars. Apple takes his car. Aaron and I take the dog in my car.
The minute we even move Mel's car, the dog falls and is whining.
Yeah, so I couldn't sit in the passenger seat. I laid in the back with Darwin the whole time because he was literally trembling, like his leg. It was like almost like an automatic response, and he couldn't stop. So I was just sitting there giving him Reiki and making sure that he was okay. And thankfully I did that because when Darwin's in the car, he can't sit still. Like he stands up, and then if you put the brakes on, he can't hold himself. And one little twist of anything on Darwin could
done.
mean his life right now, because he's 11. He's going to be 12 years old this year. So if he fucks up his hip, that's
done.
it. That's another reason why we're so, careful.
That's why I didn't want to leave the house.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to kill my dog.
But at the same time, Darwin's like, he's also freezing. And even though he doesn't know what's going on, he knows what's going on.
He also he sensed at that point that all his people were at
Flipping
their
the fuck
wits
out.
Yeah.
end, and he's just like looking at us like,
So-
what are you gonna do?
So we drive over there. The roads are treacherous,
Yeah.
but we make it.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. We pull up, and the house has
Oh my God.
2 flights of snowed in stairs for the dog to go up.
right before I get there, like maybe 5 minutes before I get there, she texts me and was like, "Oh my God, Mel, I forgot to tell you, we haven't been to this house in a few, like a week or so. The snow is piled up on the stairs, and I don't know how you guys are going to get up, but I don't have time to do that too." So we get there. And she was right. You couldn't see the stairs. You could see like the echo of a stair, but it was all snowed on. So I go in first just to kind of because nobody knows this coworker of mine. I go in first and, meet her and her daughter. And she's so freaking sweet. The house is warm, and I just wanted to
Leah,
cry.
I fucking love you.
And so I just was like, okay, you know what? Get in. She's showing us, because her mom's house is eccentric and incredible. There's upstairs and a basement and side rooms and all these
Lego room.
Yeah, all these different rooms. So she's like, it's not a house that you can just be like, oh yeah, you'll find everything. We
You
needed
need to be showed.
Yeah, we needed to be shown
gotta
what was
be
going
shown.
on. So we get there, and then she's like, there's some shovels in the garage, if you guys want to start to shovel. So Ryder grabs a shovel. And he's shoveling, and we have 2 sets of stairs. So I'm like, okay, Ryder, is there a second one? He's like, yeah, it's in the garage, blah, blah, blah. I go down, I grab it, come back out. At this point, I was just done with emotionally, physically.
And you were sick.
I was as sick as could be. I was on my mend. I was getting better. I was feeling great. And then that happens and it was, oh, we can't stop, huh?
Yeah.
That's one thing about being live. But like, so I'm, I grabbed the other shovel. I was sick. Let's just put it at that. I was sick. I grab the other shovel. Now I'm shoveling. I come out and then I'm like shoveling. Ryder's at the top of the stairs. I'm at the bottom of the stairs. So we're trying to like get the stairs cleared so Darwin can walk up. And Ryder just simply asks for the shovel that I was using.
Ooh, you let him have it.
And I was, that was, he could have been like, hey, Mel, and anything else.
Hi,
after
Mel,
that.
how you doing today?
And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now?
Oh, is that what the big apology was for the next day? Okay, I didn't know why.
Because I was like, why do you need my shovel? Why don't you just grab this one to begin with? Why when I start doing it, why do you need this one? And then now you want yours back? Like
everybody was at their wits' end.
I didn't have any patience for any even like for him to explain it. I didn't have patience.
So we get through
we'd get through that, or I just wanted to throw that in there because there was like constant little triggers along our trips.
In the meantime, when you guys were doing that, I was inside flapping my gums like I do, getting to know Leah and her daughter and kind of exchanging life stories.
You're a trip.
And looking at her. Yeah, Aaron picks up. When I go to somebody's house, I love to look at all their knickknacks and tchotchkes, family
Apple
photos.
Every single,
and that was pissing me off because I was like,
every single thing in this woman's house, like, ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this lamp. What's this? Ooh, this is cute. Went through all their fucking albums. Like,
I was like trying not to like snap at anyone else again. And I'm like, how fucking dare him? They're being sweet, letting us be in, and they're fucking
cute.
Touching every fucking thing in this house. Like,
what you missed
just fucking lay down. Well, no, this is my. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, what you saw. Yeah, you didn't hear mine and Leah's conversation.
Exactly.
She was like,
I was
look
like
at
in
the
and out.
albums, play with the things. Even her daughter was like, you can play with the Legos and stuff if you want.
No, again, these are all.
I
like
ended up sleeping in bunk beds, which was fun.
It was really.
I felt like a little
sweet
child.
What she had offered and her niceness didn't extend just to sleeping there. She was very like forthcoming with everything. She's like, oh, there's bubbly waters in there.
Left
Make yourself tea. Like brought over a little basket of tea. Like it was great, but it was my attitude toward everything.
Well, yeah, you weren't
like,
feeling good,
what?
And everything was fucking topsy-turvy.
And I had to do so much, and I had gone to work that day, and it hit me after I left, and I think that's what it was.
You
it was
literally had a fever when we got in bed that night.
Yeah, I was just like, this is not it. This is not happening.
So we spend the night.
A wonderful, warm lovely night.
Yes.
And I wake up in the morning to Darwin needing to go out, and I take him out, and then I come back in and I make coffee, and it's maybe like 6:30 in the morning. And then Apple gets up and we're like, I look and I see that our power had come back on. I can see all like the devices in the house are connected to the modem. So there's power. And Mel's in bed.
Because I was
not feeling good.
Well, and that night after everybody had gone to sleep, I woke up again because I was coughing nonstop and I could not sleep. So I got up in the middle of the night and went out there, made myself some tea, sat with the fireplace on, and just was like elevated, like sitting straight up. So I did not get the sleep that they all got in a nice warm house. I was still
not
sick,
feeling good,
and coughing, and now tired.
And so this is Tuesday morning, and they're saying that there's another ice storm is coming, and I go outside and I can see the storm. Like it's coming. Wow. And I'm like, if our power's on, if we don't go home now, we're not going to make it because we won't be able to.
Yeah, we don't know when
home.
the storm's going to hit, and it was going to happen.
So we like get packed, load all our shit up, get the dog back in the car, get home, and Apple's, when we're driving home, he's like, I'm going to stop at the store. And Mel's like, I'm going to go to the store too. So she drops me off. I get up the hill and I walk in the house and I'm like, oh my God, it's warm in our house. Thank God.
All is well.
I set my stuff down and I hear water pouring and I'm like, what the fuck? Well, we had left the faucets running, like dribbling when we left. So I'm like, that's more than the faucet dribbling. And like that feeling of like, your heart drops into the pit of your stomach
when you know you're gonna see some shit.
That, like somebody's dead or like something awful is you're about to see it.
You don't want to look, but you know you gotta go.
Like
look.
in the movie when the husband come home early from work and then here's the wife like what's going on?
Yeah.
Walking upstairs. And
I have to go look.
So, hey, look who joined our live.
Oh,
the wheel.
Check out
Avram.
Avram.
There you go, buddy.
Representing today. And this was by me and Mel had no idea. We both walked into the studio with the same
We just twinsied
shirt on.
accidentally.
Okay. So
for the bookends.
Sorry.
If you've ever been to our house, there's a hallway upstairs and then a set of stairs that go down to where we are sitting right now in the studio, Mel's treatment room, and then a little
studio.
2 other stairs that go down into the basement. And I hear water pouring and I'm like, oh fuck. And so I run down the stairs and I see in Apple's bathroom water pouring out of the vent, the exhaust vent onto the floor. And I look down and there's water coming into our studio, like
about halfway
across the studio, like
working towards the equipment.
It made it more than halfway for sure.
1/8 of an inch deep. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I run into the basement and there's literally about to the sole of your shoe.
There's like 3 inches of water
in the basement, and a waterfall coming down
over the
washer and dryer. And I'm here by myself, and I call Mel. I run outside, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, so
hang on,
hold on. QFC is like a 3-minute drive from our house, and maybe it was a 5-minute drive that day because I was being careful and had to drive around that tree. I walk out. I like turn the car off, open the door, and I get a phone call. And so I'm walking in the store with my phone, like, oh, hello, what's up? And all I hear is crying, like
I'm like
hysterical.
Mel.
Not like, hey, Mel, like it was like, Mel, I don't know what to do. Who do I call?
I didn't know this part.
No, he's like,
I fucking lost my shit.
He was, I've never heard him do that. Only when we fought when we first got together is the only time I've ever seen that type of emotion come out of him.
This is look,
and it was
4 days of
we know, babe. We know they don't.
4 days
but
of like pent up everything, and then now the dam has burst.
Well, I didn't know you had talked to Mel first, because then he calls me and just brain fry. He's like, dude, do you know where the water main is? I need to turn it off. He's like, we got major leak. And I'm like, are you serious?
No, I said the basement and the studio are flooded.
And I go, are you serious? And he goes, I wouldn't fucking joke around about something like, and I'm like, I don't even know why I said, are you serious? Because I could hear.
No, I'm kidding, dude. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Ha-ha.
And it's just like, I'm standing there getting ready because we had decided we were going to have a good steak and potato dinner.
Which I'm sick, and they decide that.
We're going to have a good meal tonight. And I'm standing there like ordering steaks from the butcher, and the Ryder's watching me talking to Aaron like, oh fuck. And I got off the phone. I was like, dude, we're heading home. I look at the butcher. I go, 4 of those steaks, Ryder, get them. I'm going, meet me. And me and Ryder just, boom, grabbed the last couple things, met up front, checked out as quick as we could, and got on our way.
So I call Apple. I'm trying to get a hold of Apple too, because I'm like, oh my God, fucking Aaron's tripping. Like, call Jim. Because I called our landlord and then her dad that lives next door, and I didn't get a hold of either of them, so I'm trying to call him. Well, they were on the phone and trying to figure stuff out.
In the meantime, these guys are calling each other. I'm flipping out, and I'm like, oh shit, I do know where the water shut off for the house is. So I run down into the basement. There's a main valve down there, and shut it off. But the water doesn't stop pouring instantly. Like the pipes all have to drain. So I'm not sure. So I come back outside to walk down our treacherous driveway of ice, and our neighbor is standing there that we had just met the day before for the first time, and is the most awesome human being on the
Yes.
planet.
Shout out.
And he's like, Aaron, what's wrong? And I was like, Austin, man, our basement's flooding, our studio's flooding. I don't know where the water main is. It's under the snow in the sidewalk right there. Do you have a shop vac? And he's like, yeah, man, you guys, I'll go get my shop vac. You got this. It's okay. He runs and goes and gets his shop vac. I go and I find the water main outside and shut the water off to the house.
So then I come back because little aside, they all three decided to have steak and potato dinner. I'm fucking sick AF. And I can't have no damn steak and potatoes. Like, I need soup. So I'm in that sick state, and they were going to go get this whole thing. And so Aaron's like, hey, what do you want from the store? I can't even think. I'm trying to just get out of bed before we left my friend's house. I can't tell him what I want. I don't even know. I can't think. So when I dropped Aaron off, we kind of had beef because he's like, are you kidding me right now? You're not just gonna I'm gonna get my own stuff. I didn't say it till I just dropped you off because I didn't want to start a fight. I'm just gonna get my own shit. And so that's why that's why Aaron was home by himself. But when I came back after I answered that phone call, I'm running through the supermarket like supermarket sweep. I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm trying to get all the stuff that I need. And then I get back in, come home, and I hadn't met our neighbor yet. I hadn't met Austin yet. So I didn't know who this person was. I pull up and I just see this guy on his hands and knees shoveling our driveway and trying to expose our water line. And I'm like, okay. I was just kind of, give him the heads up and smile and try to run up as carefully as I can and get there. And I just come in and see the devastation of water everywhere. It was so scary. And the first thing I thought was an overflow of emotion. That's literally the first thing I thought. I was in my head, I just kept thinking, why is this happening? What is the reasoning? Yes, it's winter. Yes, it's frozen.
Yeah, the house
froze. The pipes froze. I understand
why?
that. But I'm always thinking a little bit deeper. And through this entire thing, it was all about these overwhelming emotions that we kept on having to deal with. And it just freaking came through.
Loose.
So I run and grab the squeegee from the shower and start squeegeeing the water out of the studio into the basement.
Hold on. If we had come home
an hour,
10 minutes,
20 minutes,
20
anything
minutes
after
later,
what we did.
It would have been.
we would have lost.
It would have been all the way across the studio.
We would
Bottom half
have
of our
lost.
house.
Yeah, we would have lost our at least Aaron's computer stuff for sure.
The power strip that all of the live stream gear, computers, lights, that all that's plugged into, sits on the floor and probably shouldn't anymore. And the water was probably 4 inches from it.
It was so close because at first I could only, you can't go to the very end of where the water is. You kind of have to start at the edge and start working it, into. So I was grabbing a little bit of the water from the room and then squeegeeing it. And then when I got further and further, I didn't realize how far the water had traveled. So when I got almost to the end of my squeegeeing task, it had literally gotten an inch away from, if it would have been, if I would have started squeegeeing 5 minutes later, it would have reached the plug for sure.
And in the basement, 10 more minutes, we would have lost the furniture.
Oh yeah.
And all that shit.
Thankfully, for real, thankfully, everything was elevated off the floor, not furniture or lots of boxes or anything. So everything, all of our area rugs, they, kind of soaked up a lot of stuff. But thankfully, it was clean and we didn't have a bunch of shit everywhere. And it was minimal damage to the house and to our belongings.
Yeah. And it was amazing too. We kind of came within a couple hours, we got it all clear. It was okay, we got the shop vac from our neighbor.
And it looked amazing.
And me and Ryder took turns just shop vacuuming. We emptied it out 5 times, I think, into the 5-gallon buckets, 25 gallons of water, not including what was all soaked up in the rugs and what Mel had
squeegeed out of the door. And
yeah, and in the studio, it was bad enough that it leaked out the sliding glass door all onto the patio and made a whole.
No, actually, I opened it and was squeegeeing out.
Oh, you squeegeed that out? Okay,
because
I was wondering how that happened.
Well, like the distance from where Aaron's plugs are to the door is a great distance, and then we've got this sliding glass door that's not so far. So I was like, why am I gonna
just squeegee it out
so
the
I just
door.
kind of
Okay.
squeegeed everything outside and moved the couch and squeegeed underneath the couch and just got it out of the house.
So we get everything's shut down.
Well,
we have power, and we get the mess cleaned up.
Well, and in the we were like, oh my God, thank God it didn't. Down in our basement, there's also a side room, which we call the storage room, which has a bunch of our landlord's furniture and a bunch of our stuff, and a room packed full of all kinds of boxes, sentimental stuff,
furniture, manga books.
Thank God, and there will be more to follow. Thank God it didn't get to that room.
It didn't go that far.
So, we get everything cleaned up. We're all like done.
Exhausted.
We're spent.
We look like
that was at 9 a.m. All this that we're talking about, we got to the house at 9 a.m. So by 9:30, we were all knee deep in water in a newly warmed house with power.
Yeah.
So
and weren't done
it wasn't
until afternoon.
Oh yeah. So it was. I'm just saying that for time wise. So by the time like 3 o'clock came, when we were pretty much kind of done with all of those tasks, we were
and and you can't
putty.
shower because there's no hot water.
Hot water.
Our neighbor was kind enough to allow us to use their shower and their toilet.
Well, okay. So in the meantime, we did get a hold of our neighbor's dad, and he had someone watching his house because he's in wonderful sunny Costa Rica.
That's where I want to be,
and will be for the next couple weeks. And so had somebody watching his house, and so when we called him, he called his friend, and his friend happened to be watching it or at the same time and came up and saw what we were dealing with. And he did absolutely nothing, but he was another person. And it just made at least me feel better just to have somebody else to see what's happening.
Yeah, yes.
It wasn't like he didn't give us a good hug or any good advice, but just having somebody that was there to witness what was happening and like be another adult. It felt so good to have this guy there. So wait, then he offered us our neighbors. He was like, you know what? They're out of town. They've got this downstairs bathroom. Please feel free to use it. You can take a shower, go to the bathroom, whatever you need.
Next morning, get up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna need to use the bathroom. I'm gonna go over there and take a shower. So I get my bag of stuff together.
Well, I had already showered before that.
Yeah.
You'd gone. Aaron had gone to go to scope it out. He went to go poop, look at it, see what's going on. And then he came back, and then I was like, I'm just going to go do it. I'm not going to fuck around, because what this taught me was like, time is
Don't
of
hesitate.
the essence.
Anything can happen.
So I was like, okay, I'm leaving. So I packed my bag, walked over, took the shower of my life. I put lotion on. Like, it was like so nice. Had music on while I was playing. I leave, come back, and I was like, oh, how was it? I was like, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah.
So I'm like, cool, I'm going to go. So
My turn.
I get my bag together. I'm like, yay, power's on. I'm going to go take a nice hot shower at the neighbor's house, whatever. I get in there, and I just finished the last rinsed my hair thing, and the fucking power goes out, and the bathroom has no windows. I'm in pitch black in somebody else's house, wet. Like, fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Really? The power's out again? I'm like, I can't do this now. Okay, Aaron, get your shit together. So I turn the light on my phone, dry off, and I'm at this point I'm like, I'm not even going to say anything when I go back. I'm not going to be like, fucking power. I didn't say shit.
It wasn't needed.
I walked I walked up. Apple was sitting on the porch.
Because I was next. I'd already gotten my shower bag all ready to go. Going over to where lights are and take a nice shower. But
so I look at Apple. We just looked at each other, shook our heads. So...
And I'm like, I need to shower. Aaron goes, go now. Don't hesitate.
While
and
it's still warm.
Booked over there and got a shower in the dark.
So we're like, okay.
And we left out too. In the meantime, Aaron had talked to a plumber the day we came home, and they're like, "Sure, we'll have somebody out there between noon and 4." When every other plumbing company's like, "We'll get to you next week." This has happened to everybody.
Mind you, they've never shown up. They still haven't shown
Yeah.
up. So
We're all hopeful. That was the one thing we were so hopeful, but with that window, because that happened earlier in the day. So it was like, say, 11 o'clock. So we were like styling, like, oh my God, they're going to come in an hour between, we're going to get this taken care of. It's been a pain in the ass, but so what?
When they
We'll
didn't
deal
show
with
up,
it.
I called them and they were like, yeah, we shouldn't have scheduled you. We'll get to you sometime next week. So our amazing friend, Sean.
MVP.
Uh-oh.
Angel.
And Krista.
Saints.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Sean calls because he sees what's going on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, because you made that post.
Yep. And he's like, hey, man, I know how to fix pipes and stuff. I can come over and take a look and see if I can get you back up and running. And I was like, well, we don't have any power right now. Mel and I were just kind of like laying in bed. And I was like, I'll text you in a little while. So Mel and I hang out.
Aaron's like, should I have Sean come over? I was like, look, if he absolutely wants to, that's on him. But don't bring him over here.
In the dark.
We have nothing to offer him. Like, we can't, no, we can't just, no. But if he says yes and wants to, then hell yeah.
He texts me back. I text him that. I'm like, if you really feel like you can make it over here safely, then yeah, you should come. He texts me back. The minute he texts me, the phone goes ding, the power comes back on.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, Sean's coming over. Power just came back on. We're going to fix the water. It's going to be a piece of cake. He was here from
a little over 7 hours.
Yeah, he got here at 2 and left at 9:30.
Yeah. And fixed
no breaks.
9 different holes in our pipes in our house. This cat, man, after we fixed the first 2, I was like, oh, he's going to be like, you know what, man, I didn't know that this was going to be so gnarly. Like,
I'm going to cap you off.
I'm going to cap you off
tomorrow.
And, yeah, or just wait. You're going to have to wait for the plumber to come on whenever they show up.
No, he didn't do that.
One break to the next, water pouring into the subfloor in the spare room, finding leaks.
Oh, well, yeah,
leaks
they
in the
don't know what
garage.
that means. So he's fixing it, and we're finding all these extra holes. And I'm on the phone with my client because I had 2 clients that week. So I was sick. I scheduled these clients. We had all these interviews. And so I'm like on the phone with my client telling her, yeah, we don't have power. We're rescheduling. And then I hear, Mel, we need you. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to go. Hang up with her. Now there's another leak in that room that Apple was
room
mentioning.
that they said was spared.
The memorabilia and the personal stuff and like
pouring from everywhere on the ceiling.
Everywhere.
So Sean, the Superman MVP, gold star,
Sweetie Petey, Angel Heart,
fucking hangs in with us. We demolished.
He was on that so quick. Me and Mel started cleaning up, and we'd cleaned for about 10 minutes when I ran upstairs to do something. And you guys already had like 3 holes cut in the wall, and we're working on Sean was already working actively on several leaks, like within 10 minutes, like boom, on it. It was like, what the
yeah, man.
fuck?
It was insane because I was
an angel.
I was downstairs most of the time trying to like clean up that water mess. So I didn't know any of the progress or of the holes that were happening. I had no idea of anything. And so I can hear a little bit just above, so I go upstairs and I look, and the garage is like, looks like, it looked like a chessboard. like there was like hole here, drywall there, hole here, drywall.
Because we would cut one hole and the pipe goes along the wall, right? Like horizontal. And we'd get it, and then you'd see water coming out behind it, and then you cut another hole and there's water coming out behind that, and you cut another hole, and it was he stayed until almost 10 o'clock, and here's the
no food.
Here's the kicker: wouldn't eat anything, wouldn't take payment, did it because he wanted to help us.
With a freaking smile
the whole
on
time.
his face. He was busting jokes. He was being sweet and funny and
Dropping
cute.
pop references.
All this the coolest that we could have ever gotten in all of Portland. If we would have called all the plumbers in the entire universe, this is what we ended up getting. A homie who didn't charge us, who was talking fish with us the whole time and was down to fix multiple holes in the same day.
And I remember before he came over, and he said it a few more times because, like, a lot of us that are a little older, we use our pop culture references. And he's like, "I have an awesome set of tools," and like he did, he had everything.
Set of tools, and I could fix it.
He meticulously went at it. Like we realized afterwards, he said, plumbing company would have come in here and torn the entire wall. They would have you got to fix it anyway, and they would have done a lot more
damage.
Deconstruction that would have had to be reconstructed. He went about it like you would do when you're fixing your own thing, very meticulously and careful.
Yeah, man. So, Sean, if you hear this, Krista, thank you.
Student
both.
of the month, VIP.
We love you so much. I can't even
whatever.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
the saga continues.
Well, yeah, because we thought, oh my God, he fixed our water. Our power's back on.
We're good.
All thing we
We're
have to do is
good.
just clean up. Let's just, you know what? For this night, guys, let's just go to bed. And then we wake up in the morning, and I wake up to hearing Apple, shop vacuuming and like cleaning, and Aaron's got coffee, and like stuff seems like it's gonna be normal
and the
again.
Sweet Lilies are coming to the house.
Sweet
We're
Lilies,
doing an interview.
We're like,
Everything's great.
We're like, holy crap! How is it that all this happened before? Because that night before Sean left, I'm like, babe, you're gonna have to cancel the Sweet Lilies, and I'm like, I don't want you to. I'm just saying they're not even have a place to pee. Like we can't even offer them like a place to wash their hands. Like that's not gonna be cool. We can't do that. Aaron's like, I'm waiting.
I'm gonna wait to see if we can get this fixed.
Yeah.
So we got it fixed. So the interviews a go. They come. We have an amazing interview with them, but we get like maybe 20 minutes into the interview, and the power goes out, but comes right back on.
Yeah, it was like a little flash.
It was like, and we're all like, "Aw, fuck!" And then came back on. We're like, "Okay, cool." Have an amazing interview with them, which we're going to be putting out very soon. Stay tuned for that. You're gonna love.
Shout out to the Sweet Lilies for coming up our treacherous driveway and bringing an ray of sunshine. Thank you.
And they were so great. I love it. They were so thankful because their show ended up getting canceled here because of the
while
ice
they were
storm.
here.
And that they were so thankful that they at least got to do this, and we all got to hang together, and so were we.
Oh yeah, because another storm's coming.
Yeah. Another one.
Another
a freezing one.
Yes, we get
freezing rain and ice storm this time. So they leave. We start cleaning up, and the power goes out.
Their interview was at 12, and they got here pretty much right on time. We maybe hung out with them for about an hour and a half. And then, they leave because they've got an offer. A friend of theirs is putting them up, and they're like, okay, we don't have, show tonight. So we're going to go have dinner, hang out. They leave. We're stoked. We're putting our house back together, and boom, at 4 o'clock,
going.
At 4 o'clock, shut down again.
So,
and we're like, this is just gonna be for a minute, like earlier. They're resetting something. They're flipping it on and off for a minute.
No, now the storm has started. 30-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm talking about if you went to the grocery store and bought a bag of ice and just like opened it and threw it up in the air. That was what was falling from the sky.
Apple and I had stupidly gone to the store for honey, but we needed to. Apple and I I'll do it again, actually. Like Apple and I needed honey because I was still not feeling right.
Special, like a hot tea with lemon and ginger, all these things, but it needs the honey for the throat coat.
Yeah,
for
so
the finals.
Apple's like, I'll drive if you go in. And I was like, fine, I bet. Let's do it. Aaron was on the phone with somebody. We was like, we already made our decision. We're like on our way. We get there. By the time I get out of the store, I'm like dodging pebbles and like getting hit in the head.
I'm staring at the front doors. I'm like, come on, Mel. Come on, Mel.
So they come back
with honey.
With honey.
And some sugar cubes.
Yep. That's what took long.
35-mile-an-hour winds. Now, I know that you all don't know where we live in the Pacific Northwest, but there's 80-foot pine trees.
These old growth trees,
growth trees surrounding our house like sentinels on all sides except for one. And it gets dark. The house is freezing again. Mind you, now we're paranoid about the pipes, so all the faucets are running.
And here, more doomed to through all of this, our entire neighborhood, over all these days we've already described, we're hearing trees cracking,
Popping.
breaking. These 60 to 80 foot pines, like Aaron's describing, they're coming down over by
All
our
over the
neighbor's house.
neighborhood.
4 of them came down across our neighbor's driveway. They're coming, and you're hearing creaking and popping all over in the woods.
It was so scary. Like, it sounded like bones breaking.
Yeah.
And you just...
And moaning. They're like,
Yeah, yes. It was like the trees
Pop.
were like, ouch.
Yep. So
Like,
me and Apple are standing outside like idiots having a cigarette, and you can hear the tree freeze and pop. We hear boom. We're like, what the fuck? We hear him come running in the house. We're like, oh my God.
so it wasn't just the trees. It was like ice falling from the branches and branches. So it was like bombs of like
Hitting the roof.
ice and branches and hitting the roof so hard. At one point they come back in, maybe when you're talking about right now, and then we hear boom, like not a heavy boom, but definitely a boom.
We hear
Big
the
boom.
pop and a boom, and then the house shook a little bit.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no.
So then we all look out because we have lots of windows in the house. We look out and like my car had been pulled out of the garage because like
we needed to
we
lay
were
out
working.
rugs and things in there.
like we're
and
cooking in there with the camp stove and shit like
Cooking in
that.
the
So like,
garage.
and they're smoking out there. So all this shit. So like my car was just like literally outside of the garage. This tree falls right, or the branch, the huge branch falls right on my car, but like caught by the roof of the house. So I've got like branches on my hood and car, but like it
And
was
it's about
propped
a
up.
10-inch diameter trunk of this tree. Luckily,
Yeah.
it wasn't one of the huge ones. It was
So we stay home that night, right? Nobody's leaving in the midst
You're
of this.
not leaving in this ice.
And Mel and I, like, we're not sleeping in the studio together. Nobody can handle anybody's farts or snores anymore.
It's over.
And so Mel and I just like go and we get in our bed and we put 19 blankets on. Darwin gets in, we go to sleep. But
and at this point, it was warm. It was in the 30s, no longer down
Yeah.
in the
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
nice
it was
and warm in the
icy,
yeah,
but
nice
not
and balmy.
and as we're trying to fall asleep, you're hearing bombs hitting the roof. And as an adult man, there is very few times that I can remember, even when being homeless, when I was terrified, like scared. I was fucking scared. I'm like, we could fall asleep and just be crushed by a tree or maimed. We don't know, like, and it's real. Like it's not out of the realm of
No,
possibility.
at this point, we've
It's
realized
actually
anything
possible.
can happen.
Yeah.
At
You
this
know?
point, we've
There was-
realized anything can happen.
Yeah, like right before we'd gone to bed, Aaron was frightened. And at that point I was taxed. I wasn't scared of shit. I was just like, oh, it's gonna happen. We're gonna die of a tree. Okay, it's fine. Like, whatever.
This is how it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like I'm not scared. I was just like I had already used all my emotional energies up, so I'm not using the last 2% on fear. But he's clearly scared, and so it was just like really hard to proceed because he like. Think about that. When you're truly scared, it's hard to sleep. It's hard to think.
Yeah.
It's hard to relate. Like, at this point, Aaron and I, we're just partners at this point. We're just, doing it together. We're not having any intimacy. We're not like being sweet.
While
We're just
the house is being exploded.
Yeah, we're just being like next to each other. And so I was like bummed and sad, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't even help him
No,
with
I wasn't
this.
expecting anything from you.
No, but I'm like, we can't even like be there for each other at this point because
I downloaded a movie while the power was
because I was
on.
like, look, I'm not watching no fucking scary movies.
We watched a really cute movie about a dog.
I was like, I want to watch this Togo over here. It's wintry and stuff, but it's got dogs, and let's watch that.
But we fall asleep. We get up in the morning. The house is fucking freezing again. You could see your breath in the house. And we Apple and I are like, okay, look, we're gonna go get like pizza and coffee and propane because we're running out of fucking propane now. We can't cook and we don't know if the power is going to be off. So this is Thursday, okay? Or Friday.
It's Friday.
This is
Friday. No, it's
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, this is
because
Friday.
Sweet
now.
going
Lily's
on.
was Thursday.
This has
Yeah.
been going on since Saturday.
Yeah, like each one of these days has a new tale
It's been
to
a
tell.
week almost. So we like
Today's the week.
Yeah.
While
So
we're talking to you.
we're like, we're gonna go just get necessity stuff and get ourselves some comfort food.
Yeah.
And so we suit up.
Aaron comes into the room. I'm laying on the bed and open the windows, and I'm just gonna sit and do collages because that's the only thing that like gets my mind off of everything, and I can feel like I'm being creative and in my own world. And he's like, Mel, do you want me to bring you any treats? I'm like, yes. He's like, what? I was like, yes. He's like, what do you want? I was like, I want glue sticks. I want a ski mask. I want coffee. I want pizza. I want a burger. I want
Donuts.
fucking everything. Whatever you're going to offer, I want it. Because I know you can't get all that shit. So any of it is going to be good for me.
So we suit up. Apple crab walks, crab slides down the driveway because it was a solid sheet of ice. Went down on his hands.
Aaron's like, "You gonna be okay?" I had to
feet.
put my work gloves on because I knew I was gonna end up doing it, and just walk myself crab like all the way down the driveway.
I walked down the
I didn't know
island.
that.
Yeah, it was funny. We get out, we get off we turn off onto the first street, and there's arborists all
Everywhere.
down the street. I would say 15 different spots where there's just destruction. There's cars smashed
In ditches.
in ditches. Like we get out, we stop at our first stop. As soon as we pull up, Mel calls, and I'm like, oh my God, the fucking phone's ringing. It's Mel. Oh no.
It was actually right after we came out of the tobacco store because they were wishing us well that our power.
Oh, that's right.
I almost went back in to go tell them our power had just come back on, but it was like
I'm like
this.
terrified to answer the phone.
And so what happened
what
was
now?
they leave, and immediately Ryder comes into the room and was like, hey, Mel, I'm going to make some hot water. Do you want some? And I was like, yes, I want some tea. So he had just came back to tell me like, hey, the water's ready. So I get out of my little setup that I had and walk, and there's like all these like mugs from like just the house. You can't wash dishes, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh, we have water. I'm gonna wash these dishes in hot water. So I'm washing them, and I'm on my last dish, and the power comes out. Me and Ryder are talking, like he's in the kitchen and watching me, and we're talking, and I'm on my last dish, and the power comes on. I was like, oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I can't, but like I fucking lose my shit, and I feel like I won the lottery. And me and Ryder just turn and look at each other, and we fucking hug for like a good solid 5 minutes.
So when Apple and I left, part of the reason that we left was to go see if there was any power crews out working anywhere around us. And when we left, we didn't see anybody. So neither of us said it to each other, but we were both like, well, we're fucked for another couple of days.
At this point, we weren't vocalizing any negativity.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because we'd already discussed that.
Thanks,
it's like
Connor.
we are all thinking the same fucking thing. There's no reason to be pessimistic about it.
We had to get over ourselves.
Our heads.
Yeah. So I answer the phone, and I'm like, hey, babe, the power's back on. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. So Apple and I
went to the weed shop then. I was on the fence with that when we found out power was back. Aaron, first of all, we're in the car. Aaron looks at me and goes, are we still going to get pizza? And before I could even answer, he goes, of course we are.
Oh, yeah.
We already have an order. We need that no matter what. And then we went in the weed store to go get a couple things and some edibles because now we could relax. I felt like I need a new weed and we need some edibles because now we're going to be able to relax tonight.
And so we're in the
Question
car.
mark?
We're in the car, and I'm like, we should record an episode right when we get home after we eat. And Mel and Apple are like, okay. So we make it home with our food, and we all eat.
And it might as well have been a Xanax.
Immediately, everybody in the house is like,
we all like retreat to our comfy spots. Aaron and I are on the couch. Apple is in his room. Ryder's in his room. The dog's at our feet. And
Fire lit.
I
It's warm.
was just like, I'm not moving. If the mic is in front of my face,
maybe,
right? Maybe.
but I got nothing to say.
But
It was about 4:30. I had started to fall asleep, that type of sleep, after all of this. Once I fucking fall asleep, I am not getting back up. And if I do, I'm going to be worthless. So I got up and come out and was like, we recording?
And I said, I have made an executive decision. He's like, what? I go, we ain't doing shit tonight, dude. Everybody needs to rest.
Yeah, we were all sick.
Yeah, well, and
rough
that's
throats, rosy. Well, you could still. Have. We're all like kind of we're not.
No, I look like $1,000,000.
Yeah, I look.
Yeah, well, except for Aaron.
Yeah,
and
he's looked amazing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was really great because we just all did nothing and just let our bodies stop being tense. That's what I felt like. I was just so tight and tense. And the night before, I told Aaron, I was like, oh my God, the only thing that could have made this week worse was if I was on my period. That would have made, I'm peeing outside in the middle of next to Darwin, and like, so.
I like it.
That was like, I'm so stoked that didn't happen because it was like kind of like on the cusp of it coming. Well, that day it came. It came. So it was like, I was like getting over being sick. All the shock of all the craziness, my personal cycle coming, and it was just like.
And then that food we ate, that's not our normal to eat. No. We had meatball sandwiches, chicken parm sandwiches, and pizza. That's
not our normal.
That's heavy.
For No Simple Road was at the beginning of the year. I had made. I knew that I was going to go see my sister on between the 4th and the 7th of January. So it was like, when I get back, we're going to start the whole 30, all three of us, and we're going to hit it until we get to Mexico. And so we had this whole plan started. Well, then
the day that this happened, Wednesday, was the day we were supposed to start.
Yeah.
Or Saturday.
Yeah, because we're going to start on the weekend because we're off on the weekend, blah, blah, blah. No,
you ain't doing whole 30 when you're trying to survive.
So
more torture on top of everything
So like
else.
that food, the combination of now we've got water. Now our power's back on. It's warm in the house. We're satiated.
And still not sure.
Yeah, we're still kind of
like something else.
Yeah, like I think my tension came less from being cold, but more from being like just tense, cooped up and just like so. It's so much like you don't know, and then all these feelings of like I had some really deep feelings of like I don't feel safe,
helplessness.
Yeah, like that is I don't think I've ever felt like that. Mm-hmm. I don't let myself feel like that. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't about letting myself feel anyway.
And there was nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, this was
either.
Nothing like, it wasn't like, you guys, it was no one's fault. It was nothing. It was just like a reality like, whoa, we need to do some things a little bit differently around here.
Yeah, we've definitely learned some lessons and got a few things throughout this. We now own a manly axe, wood saws, like things you need to do. And we realized we need to get a shop vac and stuff. And
my gosh.
Then also last night we had chowed pretty good and snacks throughout the afternoon. And the night came out before I fell back asleep and was like, when we had gone out that day, me and Aaron, we got stuff to make tacos last night for dinner. And I come out and I'm like, you guys ready to eat? And they look at me like, I don't really need a taco. Both of them, Mel, and then Mel, I love Mel's answer. Mel goes, well, I don't need a taco, but if I smell it, maybe. So to me, that was like I needed to do it anyway because our fridge had been down So it was like, I just need to cook. I'm going to cook taco meat if anybody wants it because I'm having a couple tacos. And I made it, and it was fun. A recipe that took like way too long to make taco meat, but it was really good. And I pulled that together and made myself a couple tacos. Aaron comes in and is like, yeah, I'm going to do a couple tacos.
Then I, of course,
Mel
jumped in and
followed.
Had some.
Yeah, so we all had a good dinner and things went well last night.
Fingers crossed, we're still good.
Avram, I see that you had another 10 to 20 minute power outage today.
Sorry, brother.
But thankfully, well, I mean, it's fine now. We did not have that. And we kind of live in the same area. I pray that everybody in our area and not in our area gets power soon, because it was up to over like 200,000 people without
80,000 people,
without power. And there was some deaths also. There was some deaths of like people in their apartment. Like the client that I was talking to, she's 76 years old. Like she is in a freezing cold apartment with her dog. Like, and I was like, wanted to offer her a place to stay, and come stay with us. We don't have power either, but
we don't have power. It flooded here,
but we don't have water either. So like,
we don't have anything.
So
Come enjoy yourself.
And so it was just like super crazy.
And we're super tense.
Yeah, we're all fine.
Come on in. Oh no.
I also have to say to Avram from The Wheel, and if you haven't checked out The Wheel music, go follow him and
this is what The Wheel is perfect music for after this.
Yeah.
After this craziness, The Wheel is like a balm for that tension that we were all talking about.
Avram had power and we didn't, and he saw on Instagram that we were having issues and reached out and offered us a place to go get warm. And
yes,
thank you.
And
we
were almost going to do it, Avram. This is one of the points where Aaron snapped at me, and I'm like, none of us were thinking straight. And
I was like, why would we go there?
I was like, why would we do that? We just got back here. That's awesome of Avram to offer. And Aaron's like, well, you could just stay here then. I'll go. And I mentioned Aaron. I was like, but Darwin, we're just going to ditch out and leave Darwin. And Aaron's like, oh, God, I wasn't even thinking of the dog. Like, we weren't thinking. No. And Aaron didn't even apologize. We didn't need to. He just looked at me like, I'm sorry, bro. And we just looked at each other like eye contact, like none of us are thinking straight. I wish we could go to Auburn's right now.
We had some multiple super sweet offers, but No Simple Road rolls deep. There's 4 not small human beings
and a big ass
and
dog.
a not small dog
or
and
a small horse.
There's a lot to housing us or making an offer of being sweet. We've had Fire on the Mountain. They offered their home. They were out of town at the time that this was all happening. Good luck for us trying to get to that side of town. There was no way. But I
think they created all this to try to get me as a butler.
But we were just super grateful for the offers, even if we couldn't take you up on it. Like, we had awesome. Multiple, like my friend Doug offered to bring us food and candles and whatever we needed.
Were gonna bring us propane yesterday.
Like we had so many people reaching out, and then we had people that didn't even know what was going on. Like my daughter, I called her yesterday. She had a heart attack after I told her everything that was going on. She's like, Mom, I can't believe you guys were going through that. She's like, it's so weird that like we're so close, but you can't do anything for people when, and that just, it made me think of all the other, like the whole world is on fire. You know what I'm saying? The whole world is going through something crazy, and it can be as close as the next street over and you can't get there. You can't do anything about it. And what my hope and what I thought of is like, you can never get an abundance of good vibes and good energy sent to you. No. And so, good vibes is not going to feed your belly and it's not going to turn your lights back on, but you want to know what? It will definitely warm your soul. So thank you to all the people that sent good vibes. And I feel like it was just as much as like a popcorn or a coffee or something that, so thank you for everybody that did that.
It's also, I think we've learned through this, we're able to, towards the end, and especially now, keep our sense of humor intact. And kind of have joking moments throughout it. And I gotta say, one of my favorite things I've seen throughout all of this is yesterday we did the update of what was going on, and Ed from Apollo Sons, because they live up in Winnipeg, it was like genuine. You could see his comment on our Instagram. He's like, "Oh my gosh, so sorry you guys are going through all this. Glad it looks like everything's okay. This looks like spring in Winnipeg," and that hit me at the right time. I was out front laughing hysterically when I read Ed's post, because people that live in it, they've learned, they've adapted. Shit don't stop. They kind of like living here in Portland. We've learned you don't let the rain stop you, or you wouldn't work 3/4 of the year.
I thought 2 things.
Yeah.
The first one is I'm a fucking Oregonian now. I've earned
more. Yeah,
well, I have earned my Oregonian-ness.
This was a test that we passed.
I thought this. I was like, dang, I still have a fucking shit ton to learn, because when when our friend Sean was coming over, he couldn't even drive to our house. He had to stop the car wherever he could, and he walked up our driveway. We saw him walking with snowshoes. We all happened to be in the kitchen and seeing him. I was like, oh my God, Sean's here. Like, I don't have fucking snowshoes.
No, I need crampons for the house.
He learned that at some point. Like,
exactly.
I need snowshoes.
Like these lessons, as far as all of it goes, it would have taken an entire lifetime to learn what we learned in a week.
Oh yeah.
We got the crash course of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. I can proudly say that I am an Oregonian now. Second is Portland is not fucking prepared. Portland presents itself as a lumberjack.
That's right, Joe. I see your
Portland
comment.
presents itself as this big, tough mountain man that's ready to go. And I'm here to tell all of you that it's a lie. There are a lot
of people that are, as a whole.
But I'm talking about the city. I'm not talking about the city, not the people.
Yeah.
The city itself is a fucking hipster wearing flannel with a nice trimmed beard and a lined up fade with thick black glasses and a beanie on. And then that's the lumberjack. When one snowflake falls, beep, the whole city goes, ah! Everybody freaks out.
Well, not one snowflake. I think they can take a little bit. Oregon can take something, but like, yeah, the city shuts down. Like Fred Meyer, Apple was watching the news, and like Fred Meyer, like the reporters are like fucking.
Don't walk in the parking lot.
But it was like an inch thick of ice.
I know my job.
Fred Meyer's parking lot, which
my job didn't open at least 1 or 2 days. I'm not sure how many because I just stopped calling them. I was like, look, I got to deal with this. And
look, I'll be back when I'm back.
I'll be back on my next days off or not. Like,
I canceled my entire week of work.
And we literally needed it. And
so
that's it.
And then we woke up today. Had coffee.
Everything working.
We did a wonderful interview with
Tyler Ramsey.
That'll be coming out. If you don't know who Tyler is, you should go check him out.
Please check out his music.
With what a soulful, sweet, amazing individual he is.
Let's just say this: check out Tyler Ramsey's song "Flare," and while you listen to the lyrics, think about us for a second.
No, that was.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a beautiful song. It's about Neil Casal, but like, I'm just saying, think about what we were talking about. And I had just listened to that right before we got on the phone with him and just recapping my week and the lyrics of this beautiful song. It was just, thank you to everybody who reached out, via text, via phone, via everything. Something that
I learned through all of this that is kind of confounding to me. In the midst of all of this, I kept saying to you guys and myself, like, holy shit, the pioneers were badasses. Like, dude, how'd they do this? Like, what? I never thought of somebody's got to stay awake to keep the fire going.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, well, you could just put a bunch of fucking wood in there and then it'll burn all night. But no, that's not what happens.
No, that is definitely not
like
what
somebody's got to stay up to tend the fire. That's just like, wow. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, there's we were come up with a robot that automatically feeds them in or something.
Yeah, but then the power goes out and your robot's fucked.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot learned this week. And
what was your good lesson, Apple?
My good lesson, the good lesson to me was that how unprepared we are, but what we need to get prepared. We did some things, but we now know, like, it'd be nice to have a generator, a battery, power bank backup, some more tools, a real chainsaw, like, things that you need in an environment like this. And we did good through all this, but we've all been talking about that. We know we got some more things to prepare for, so we're self-sufficient. A shop vac, something as simple as a shop vac, which if we had
a lifesaver.
If we were not loaned that by our neighbor,
we'd still be bailing water out of the fucking basement.
Yeah, it would have been very difficult to do everything we did without the help of awesome human beings around us.
What about you, Mel?
I kind of have to piggyback on Apple's, just like the degree of preparation, like, you prepare, a lot of people prepare, for the work the next day, right? You put your clothes out, you make your lunch, you do whatever. Why? To make your next morning easier. But you don't think about that not everybody, I should say, thinks about that for life, you know, and like seasons and times. Like there's preparation in as an umbrella, but then there underneath that, there's a lot of other many reasons why you need to prepare for things. And my mind is usually not built that way. I'm like at the seat of my pants. I don't have a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan. I don't do that. And I've made it this far, and that was always my justification. But in this exact instance, like, oh really, dummy, you don't need fucking, you know, crampons. Oh, you don't need like one of those you know, waterproof coats. Oh, you don't need one of, you know, extra water.
You don't need to start stocking up firewood for next.
And it wasn't
winter.
like hard. I mean, well, it was definitely a harsh lesson, but like just when I was thinking about all these things, it was really like, you need to level up, you know. And we had a conversation with our great friends over New Year's Eve. And that was the content of our conversation, was about leveling up. And this definitely underscored what that truly means to level up. Not just like, oh, I feel it in my spirit and this is how I'm going to move from now on.
Leveled up.
No, this is like, no, you need to like invest money, time, and thought into preparation for your next phase of life. And so, that's
just kind of the other thing I learned through all this is, damn, I love my car. My new car, like it was stuck down below. I was not able to come back up the driveway, which turned out to be a good thing because I got that new Kia that's all-wheel drive, snow mode, I got to test every feature this week, get us in and out of here in very icy road conditions.
My last lesson, I know. My last good lesson was that it reiterated what a good team the four of us are.
Yes.
Even with all the
after
heaviness.
that crazy, you know, like me getting all pissed off and heated about my friend's house thing, Apple was like, you know what do you guys, what is it called? Can we like do a do-over kind of thing? A reset. Dude. So before we left our house, we did put all our hands in and did a do-over. And so it lightened the mood. It made everything better. And when that emergency of the water, like, you know, Ryder with the shop vac and blow drying it so it can defrost, and Apple do it with the towels, and me with the squeegee, and Aaron on the phone. And like, it really underscored all of our moving parts and how well we work together. And this is why I think No Simple Road has been so great all these years, is because we pick up each other's slack and we know what to do. And like, you know, even though this exposed the holes of where we need to, you know, prepare and get stronger, it also exposed our strengths. And that was really cool to witness.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
So we're back, everybody. We made it. We weathered the storm. Winter's not over. So...
it's not over. And, you know, we may lose power again at some point.
Well, yeah, they're still frozen out there. And after we get done here, next order of business is to go cut a tree off of the house.
Yeah. So we still have we're not out of the woods. We're actually living in the woods.
But live in the woods now.
You know what? I got a sweet text from my friend and was like, hey, can you come for a walk? And I was like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yeah, she's coming to pick me up right now.
You could probably
and
do
so
that.
I just want to say thank you, Kat, for thinking of me, to know that I need to get my head right to offer that.
And hey, No Simple Road family, the times that I was able to post out on Instagram, you all were
the love,
really, really sweet. And thank you so much. You know, when it's freezing and you can't do anything and there's nowhere to go, like, knowing that lifeline is out there and that you all are thinking about us really does mean the world, and we appreciate it. And, you know, not being able to do the show was really frustrating.
Tough.
It was frustrating. So you all mean a lot to us. It's important that we do this for ourselves and for you guys that like to listen, and love you, Joe, a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
You are here for us, Joe. Joe, thank you for you were on the gram letting us know if we need anything, or just showing your support. And like, it always means something. It always means something when you make a phone call or send a text. Like, for real, you never know. I know we've said that, and also a lot of people know that already. Like, just hearing, hey, everything okay? That can like send this like bank of tears that has been needing to come, you know, or at least friggin' Joe cares, you know, like, you know,
even Daniel Shapiro hit me up and was like, if there's anything I can do.
I got text messages saying, I know I can't help, but I'll let you know that I'm, you know, I've got your back. Like if you need to call, like I've gotten, so just
thanks. Everybody.
Thank you.
So we will be back on Friday with another episode of No Simple Road. So
Back
until
to
then,
normalcy.
take care of each other.
Yes.
Smile at a stranger. Safety third. Be fucking careful.
Wait a minute. Safety a little.
first.
It's gonna go up a little bit.
Safety third.
Yeah, it's gonna go up a little bit in the winter months.
Hydrate. and seriously, if you live up here, be careful when you go out. It's slippery out there.
And you know what? Check on your friends. Please do that.
And don't procrastinate on that thing that you know that you need that's a safety related. That's one thing we've learned through this. Like you think you need that piece of equipment.
Yeah,
Get
you
it.
Do it
You do
now.
Save for it. Go get it. We
Auburn,
love y'all.
we love you.
We'll see you later.
Yes.
Later,
peace.
Avi.
Peace.
Go listen to The Wheel, everybody.
But it's a burden. Felony just been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A = A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freitz from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.